Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Everybody, it's Tuesday night, time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, well, most of the time, I'm joined by Tony S. Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And we got a full house this week, and I'm gonna turn it over to Glenn Martin, who's the director of the film that we're talking about. He's also the writer and a producer. I'll have you go through and introduce everyone, Glenn, if that's okay. So first off, Glenn Martin, welcome to the show.
Hello, how you doing?
Not bad. So yeah, where do you want to start?
Well, we can start with the actors we have on here tonight. We have Michael Paré. People know him as Eddie and the Cruisers. Hey, here's Mike.
Yep.
You doing, Glenn, Tony, Kevin?
Yeah.
Then we have Beverly Randolph, Return of the Living Dead. There she is.
Hi, you guys.
Hey, Bev.
Hi.
Brian Saponis. He's in both my movies. He plays
Hey, everybody.
and he plays the killer and In the Shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, so it's so I just literally just finished a movie probably about 20 minutes ago. So I like to do it like to watch it as close to showtime as possible so I don't get corrupted with other things that I watch. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I've talked to Glenn a few times before, and we've talked a little bit about the movie. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's so Glenn, you're saying it's like kind of like a continuation of the town that dreaded sundown.
Yeah, it's my take because like he never got caught, the killer, and they all had suspicion. He got arrested, went to prison for something else, and all that. So I figured he moved away. And Mike, he's a detective in it, and they're on the hunt for. They look at the grandfather's past, and he has no history up to this point when he moves to this town.
Mm-hmm.
And find out Mississippi that he was there, and then there was murders happening, and then when he gets probably heated there, he goes to another town, which that's where it's his grandson. Where he left off.
So it's an interesting take, and Beverly, you weren't able to be in this movie, but you were a producer and stuff like that. But you're in some of the other movies that Glenn's working on.
Yeah, a distant producer.
Yeah. But still, you had some input, so that's good. So how did you get Michael and Beverly involved in this? Because Michael, I mean, we had Michael on a while back for I don't even remember what it was for. It was something you did with Max Jerky. I think it was Mayday a while back.
Mayday,
And it's Streets of Fire and Eddie and the Cruisers, all this stuff. Like it's a big deal to me. And
well, Glenn and I were friends on Facebook, and we started chatting. And we had similar ideas about making movies and whatnot. When he sent me the script, I read it, and I thought, Glenn, you got something here, man. This is really good. Serial killers and new spins or a new point of view about serial killers. The idea that they don't just disappear, they change towns, and they keep on going. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I agree. Because it's like once they get the taste, it's like, those Jack Russells, once they kill a chicken, you got to put them down because they get a taste for blood. They won't stop killing chickens.
I didn't know that. Mental note.
Yeah.
Keep my chickens away from Jack Russells.
Yeah.
No, you got to keep the dogs out of the chicken coop. That's what it is.
That's okay.
I have Yorkies. I don't do that. So.
And Beverly, how did you get involved with
Len? We were chatting on Facebook, and he says, "Hey, I'm doing a movie," and he told me all about it. I go, "Really?" And you get that a lot. You hear that a lot from people on Facebook. But we really had a good friendship and a rapport, and we have the same beliefs. And so he just, "Hey, why don't you come and do this movie with me?" And I'm like, "Okay." It was really easy. It was quite easy with him.
Nice.
Yes, because it's called The Searching. Is the Bigfoot movie that came out basically the same time In the Shadows did. The serial
Mhm.
killer movie. And I got Zach Galligan the same way, except me and Zach Galligan was playing Candy Crush together.
Jeez.
And I said, dude, you want to check out the script I got for Bigfoot movie? He goes, sure, man, send it over. And then he jumped on board. And I got 4 guys that was in the movie called The Wraith. I don't know if people remember that. Charlie Sheen.
Yep.
And got Clint Howard, Dave Sherrill, James Bosian, and Chris Nash. Me and Chris was friends he was in a movie called Mischief. And I became friends with him in my hometown here in Nelsonville. And so that all came together. Then we picked up Beverly. We got Robert Romanus. That's Damone from Sunridge Mile High.
Great guy.
And actually him and Mike are teams.
Yeah. Robert's a great guy to play with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Sweet man.
And then Brian here, had to get somebody to make a Bigfoot costume for me.
Yeah.
So I met the lady in a little town over in West Virginia. I can't remember. Brian, where was that at? You remember?
100 West Virginia. 100.
100. That's what. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's like in the middle of wrong turn territory.
100 because I think there were 100 people in the town. That was it.
Yeah. But, and they brought Brian with them, and I'm like, well, there's my Bigfoot. So, and that's how it all happened, and that's how me and Brian became friends. And he's our killer in the shadows. You know, he's pretty tall. He's a big guy. So, and then here's Mike hunting him down. Mike, there he is, man. Get him.
And he's also the Bigfoot. And he's gonna he's gonna be the Bigfoot in the future films as well. Like
Sacred Grounds. Yeah.
Sacred Grounds.
We'll have many of them in that.
Yeah.
It's based in 1880s. So it's cowboys, Indians, and Bigfoots. Except, of course, you don't call them Bigfoots back then. We got another name for them. But it's
that's awesome.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's great. And we had Brian on a while back for he was on for Wolf Hollow a while back as well. I totally Glenn had mentioned it to me, and I'm like, I'm horrible with names. It's faces. I have to see faces. And, so welcome back. But this whole so Tony, what were your thoughts on it? Because I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it at all.
I definitely enjoyed it because growing up, I always the town that dreaded sundown, and one of those things. It's always like, what happened? Because a lot of the times you'll get, well, depending on what series we're talking about, like the Friday the 13th, you know, they die but they come back. But it's one of those. There's certain ones where it's like, okay, what happened to this character, and bringing up a whole new story arc, because there are other like fan films out there kind of deal. And this one definitely has a different take on that, but I definitely enjoyed it. I like bringing, it's like a new generation too, because you have, who else was in it? Jennifer Banco too, right?
Jennifer Banco. Banco must be busy, huh?
Yeah, she's working. She couldn't make it, and Bob had surgery on his hand today, and he'd think he'd be out of it, but I think he might be watching it right now, though. So.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Robert.
But it definitely brings like 2 generations of horror together, which is always fun too. Kind of, seeing the like passing the torch kind of deal, I guess, because a lot of the younger people in the movie definitely hit their keys too. So you got
the young actresses we had, like Julia. Remember, the 2 girls? Yeah, they're just great. I mean, they're really good actresses. And then the guys in it as well. I mean, we had a really good casting in the shadows.
Yeah, you had a lot of talent there.
Yeah, and when I wrote that in the shadows, I had Halloween in my mind because I wanted that classic horror feel. But this newer stuff's kind of going away from the. It's too much gore now in my mind. A lot of people love gore. Don't get me wrong, but I want that classic feel where you're mentally thinking what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And
the whole gore thing. It's like, it's got its place, but it's not. If you expect, it's going to gross you out more than it's going to scare you. A good thriller could have no gore in it at all, and it could terrify you. It's a story, and the feel of the movie is what's going to get you. But you can look at all the special effects all you want, and they're going to look awesome. They could look great, and it could be a great movie because of that. But it's not going to scare me.
That's it, and that's the way I look at it. I mean, I listened to a John Carpenter interview a few years back, and that's what he said. And Deborah Hill was the same way. She didn't think blood was scary.
Well, gore is its own genre now. You know, there's a whole group of people who just want to see, you know, the bloody mess.
Yeah.
And they're really not interested in the story. They're more interested in the special effects.
And the torture and the
practical effects, actually. They want to see the gusher and see the big the squirting blood out.
Even though it's completely over the top and totally could never happen in real life. That's what they want. Yeah.
It's for the younger audience.
Well, Beverly had to face that for Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was fun.
But there wasn't a lot of blood in that, was there?
No, there wasn't.
You had Tarman. You had Tarman in there.
Tarman biting into a head, and there was a few, but you're right. There wasn't that much blood in it. Well, okay, now wait a minute. And maybe there was, but yeah. In today's standards, no.
Exactly. Yeah.
Compare it.
It was used judiciously then.
Yeah, like that. I like to point it out, but you know, movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre back in '74 got an X rating, and there's virtually no blood in that movie. There's very, very little, if any. There's nothing. There's nothing in it, and it was too gory. But there's no. It's all implied like violence. You don't even see anything. But I totally didn't realize, and when I was looking at your IMDb, that you were also in Death House and you were Dr. Tarman.
Yeah, it was a really small part. My friend Felissa asked me to do it, and
Felissa's
I didn't know what I was going into when I got there. So
that happens when you get in these monster movies. It's like, what? You didn't tell me there was all this nudity. Wait a minute.
Right. Our friend asked you to come and do something, and you show up. Okay, what am I doing? Put on the white coat. Okay, and what are my lines? Well, you don't have any lines. Just could you stand over here so they can see you?
But that was one where it was like almost everybody in the industry was in that movie. Like everyone. Yeah. But it was all because Gunnar Hansen had written it before he passed and stuff like that. So yeah, it was but yeah, I myself and my cousin Leo actually did a little documentary behind the scenes of Death House. So I have a special spot in my heart, even though a lot of people don't like the movie. I have a special spot in my heart for it because it was an experience for me. And Harrison is a great guy. He's a great guy. So
I had almost every single person from the cast on at some point in time.
We still haven't had Tony Todd on. One of these days we'll have Tony.
Have you had Felissa?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, I love Felissa.
And that movie that actually Brian came on for Wolf Hollow before, that was a movie that Felissa's in as well. She was not for that one, but
Wolf Hollow is a great title.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun movie too. It came out really good. Yeah,
it's a fun.
I think Bigfoot could probably take him though.
The Werewolf versus the Bigfoot. That's the next film.
I'm surprised they never did it.
Now that's an idea. You take that to the American film market. You get funding.
There you go.
You get an MG from Asylum.
Yeah,
Asylum. Oh no, Asylum though, because some of their stuff is. Don't get me wrong, they have some fun ones, but a lot of their stuff is a little okay. You could have.
Beverly and Bob Romanis are Bigfoot hunters in the Searching.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they'd come upon. That's how it basically got Sacred Grounds title. That's what that was going to be. And then I went ahead and I'm going Western with it. We changed the title to Searching, but they go into the Bigfoot territory, which you can't be. And we didn't have a sign made. I was going to have a sign. Well, actually, Clayton, Beverly, remember no trespassing government property.
Yeah.
And they pass it up without seeing it, so they didn't know they were in an illegal place. And of course, they go and then they see the tree upside down, and then they get attacked. And then Beverly she wakes up. So it's really good. It's entertaining. I think people will enjoy it because we've got a lot of humor in it as well.
Yeah.
The Turkey Boy stuff there. So they are funny. When we did a screening of the movie in my local theater here at Movies 10, and people just was laughing all the way through it. Then of course when Brian would come in with his Bigfoot, and then Beverly screaming, it's right behind you, and all that kind of good stuff. It's a little bit of everything. It's
nice.
Of course we're not Hollywood budget movies, but we think it's entertaining.
Yeah, but Tony and myself, we say it all the time. That's where you find the heart Like you'll find the people that are making the movie because they want to make a movie, as opposed to the people who are like, I need I know some directors. There's some independent directors that will just be like, okay, we got paid to make this movie, so I can make my own next movie, kind of deal,
and then they never get to make their next movie.
Right, exactly. So I mean, it stinks. We've met a lot of directors over the years that have come on to promote a movie that never ends up getting released, and it's sad.
Yeah.
They put so much work, and there's so many actors and stuff that put so much work into it, and it never sees the light of day. And I'm like, that's.
Well, I tell you what, I think making the movie is the easy part. This marketing stuff's what's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and like I think I talked to all you guys about it, but Facebook is kind of making it where when you share something, it only goes to a few people. You have to look for the movie to find out about it, but they want you to pay for 1,000 people.
Yeah, for ads. Yeah, they either want to pay to advertise. Yeah, it's ridiculous. They figured it out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, too, with social media, though, I mean, not only do you have Facebook, but you have Instagram. I know a lot of movies, they'll put out like an Instagram page, or TikTok is the newest, fastest growing, social media out there. So, I mean, Facebook was at one point in time, I think, the only like end all be all. But now I think with, social media could be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But
well, I've got two films. We've got Sacred Grounds we're going to be doing. We've got a movie called Cemeteries. It's based on a true story of a hanging judge back in the 1800s. He was the judge and the executioner. But so we wrote a story about that. And my producers is Matt Berry. He's a Hollywood casting director. He did the Rush Hour movies, Con Air, The Notebook, Alpha Dog. But him and his partner, they got Adjective Films. They're producing, but Ron Wells and he's helping me get this marketed out there. He's done great, and he's a very smart guy. So, so we get to Cemetery. That's what me and Mike. That was our first project. Was trying to get together.
Yeah, we almost got that off the ground. Cemeteries is a great story because it's based on a true story, and ghost stories are always, if you can. What's his name? John Carpenter says, the only thing you got to do is scare the hell out of people.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, a good
and
story.
Ghosts, man. Ghosts are scary.
And that's why a budget, if you have a bigger budget, you got more time to work. But when you're cramming everything in, you're going to miss something. And we missed a few things, whatever. Remember we filmed in November, Mike? It was like 10-degree weather.
It was cold, yeah. Yeah, we woke up and we were snowed in. Everybody thought we were going to go home. Yeah. And then Glenn said, no, this is Ohio. It's going to be done by 2 o'clock. And so at 2 o'clock, we started shooting.
But it was cold, though. Oh, my gosh.
It was cold, but the snow wasn't. I mean, it looked like winter wonderland. We woke up and this is a problem.
And Beverly missed that.
Oh, no, I was so bummed. I missed it all. I was so bummed. I missed my part. I missed everything. Unfair.
Yeah, we'll make that up on Sacred Ground, so we'll be
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Your name's still there.
Name
She's been great. She's helped me so much with a lot of things. Her and husband Clayton, I mean, they're just awesome people.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, and then Mike here. Mike does everything. He bends over backwards as well, so it's cool. Brian, he answers the phone every time I call. Oh my God, there's Glenn. What's he want?
I thought I had that number blocked.
I want you to build a studio. I want you to build a studio and get the Ohio Film Commission behind you.
Oh,
there you go.
Right?
Good. Tax incentives. Bring it to Ohio.
Yeah. Because you're the third company that I've worked with in Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Lana Reed, Billy Butler was there for he made 6 movies for a little horror guy who did the original Puppet Master. So, I mean, Ohio is great locations. And Cleveland and Cincinnati are beautiful fucking cities. They're empty, they're economically depressed, but they're very photogenic. And the countryside where we shot was just beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
I saw it.
It's right in the middle of America.
Yay, America.
Exactly. I agree. Yay, America.
Yeah. Beautiful country. Come on, everybody.
I wanted to mention the music in the movie as well, because that's actually how Glenn and I were introduced, was through a mutual, I'm sorry, what was his name? The composer?
Edward Grant.
Yeah,
that
he
brought
he had
brought
seen
back.
a previous episode that I did with an actress that he had also done the music for. He thought it went well, and he referred Glenn to me, and so I had to pay extra attention to the music, and I thought it was great. The music it's top notch, you
Yeah,
know.
hey Edward, if you're on there, say hi to us on your chat there. But I had a certain idea. I love John Carpenter's sound. I wanted to try to get a signature sound, and man, he just kept showing me things, and it was like, oh my gosh, there you go, there you go. So he was really part of everything we did, trying to figure the sound out, and he did good. We of course we're not going to copy Halloween, but I wanted that type sound. I mean, I thought of Friday 13th with the I was trying to think of something of its own, but it wouldn't have fit this movie, I didn't think.
Nah. Yeah, I think I think you made the right choice on that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be like, oh yeah, he's trying to be this, he's trying to be that, he's trying or whatever. It's like the music was good and it was appropriate for the scenes, and it was good. I mean, there's a lot of you see a lot of like lower budget movies kind of lose it when it comes to that stuff. And I think you pointed out, we talked the other day, and you pointed out sometimes people just put inappropriate music in there just because they can.
It don't match. It's got to be a flow. It's
Right.
got to start from the beginning and work its way and get highs and lows. Don't get me wrong, but it's got to fit each scene.
Right.
And the music,
I think
Michael Paré and Bob are doing their research. It's like it's pretty simple, but it fit what they were doing.
Mm.
I think you got to remember how people are going to be watching it. You're not going to be in an IMAX theater, where the sound is going to be the surround sound and be shaking. Well, some people have that in their house. I don't have one of those. I just have the speakers under the TV. But if your movie depends on that, 3,000 theater release,
Yeah.
Your sound isn't going to fit there. I don't know. You just got to remember that most people are going to see it on a little screen on their television at home, without surround sound.
Unfortunately, a lot of people will watch it on their phones. Like that's the way like a lot of younger kids like watch stuff now. On
My
their
son is 30, and he watches more on his phone. He lives in Culver City with a couple of guys, and they have this big 75-inch screen. But he says, "I'm watching on my phone in my room." I don't. It's not a shared experience. The majority of what he watches.
You guys remember the scene in the movie where they're in the shack looking around in the grandfather's shack?
Yep.
I was going to think if Michael could be to himself, the dark side's coming now, nothing. I was thinking that could have worked, but copyright stuff people had to deal with it, so I said no.
But then we were talking about before too, like you don't need gore all the time. I think that's what the music comes into, because a good scene with good music can make the lack of gore that everybody wants to see that much scarier. That you have that thrill, that like, okay, what's happening now? The music can make that scene, what is for what people, because with horror, there's so many different subgenres. So for the people that, need to see gore or need to see blood, that music could change their mind and be like, okay, well, this made this scene that much scarier if you have the right music in it.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys have my favorite scene in the shadows, though, the kill scene, should I say, is the tree scene. I just think that's so cool. I mean, it's really good. We had fun doing that, didn't we, Brian?
Yeah, we did. That was fun.
That was cool. And the George character, the swing and that pick, that was so cool. And that's not as easy as people think. I mean, swing it around and land right on top of his head.
Just real quick, Sergio's in the chat. He wants to say hi to everyone. So what's up, Serge? And one of our other guys who's kind of a regular, he couldn't make it tonight, but he's everyone in the stream is packed with awesome talents, great movie experiences. Yes, I agree.
Very sweet. Hi,
yeah,
guys.
very
Thank you.
awesome talent. Yeah, and it's that's it's one thing to talk to you guys online. I would be very awkward and weird around you guys if I met you in person. I'm just gonna let you know that. Because I have, like, I was telling Glenn when I was I was probably elementary school, I think, and John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band were playing at a college across the street from my house for like a spree day thing. and I completely skipped school to sneak in just so I could watch them because I was a huge Eddie and the Cruisers fan. And Return of the Living Dead, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Fun
So
movie.
it's yeah, and then later in life, I found things like Streets of Fire, and it's hammer fights. Who can complain?
Where are you,
about it?
Kevin?
I'm in Central Mass.
Oh, Massachusetts. Okay, all right. Yeah,
he's
that's John Cafferty's country.
Oh yeah,
Boston, Rhode Island.
yeah. Are they still
New
doing
Jersey.
stuff? I haven't heard.
Yeah, he just had some new songs come out. Tunes, calls me up once in a while. The saxophone player.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Mike, we're doing a show, and I said, yeah, in Rhode Island.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drive.
Yeah, no, you're gonna come out for the Jersey Shore, and I said, I'm working, man. Come on, That was 40 years ago, for God's sake.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I love you guys, but
come on, yeah. If you happen to be in the same area at some point,
yeah, right. He did do a show here, like I don't know, maybe 12 years ago, and I showed up and I had a few drinks with them in the bar, but you're always afraid they're going to ask you to come up on stage and I'll be lip syncing.
yeah, that'd be awkward. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure. I mean, that's I think that's the biggest thing that ever happened for them. So I'm sure their fans would have been thrilled to see you. But
if they had said, Mike, we want you to come in the studio and record a song with us, that would have been one thing. But just to show up and go up on stage and lip sync, no, I'm not going to do that. It would have been a comedy. It would have been better the myth.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a character I played. It's not who I am.
Here's a little warning for all the actors I'm going to use in my next projects. Get ready to sing because we're going to have a karaoke night.
That last time we didn't do it.
Well, we didn't have time. It was like
no, we didn't.
Yeah, no. For a day. You was there for 2 days, but really, it was so rushed.
Yeah, it was rushed. Next time.
What songs do you do, Beverly?
I like happy songs. I'm not good at picking out songs for music, but yeah, happy.
Oh, you don't one that you rehearse.
Go-Go's. Remember in the 80s, the Go-Go's, and I'll pick a song. I like BJ Thomas. I like a lot of stuff. I like most songs. Happy.
Yeah. Do you have? Are you a karaoke guy, Brian?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't come across me. I'm not a karaoke guy either. I'm very, very self-conscious about stuff like that, and I
need a lot of drinks to get up on a karaoke stage.
Well, what if you were in the Bigfoot costume? I'm just saying.
I can be like a masked singer. I can be either Bigfoot or do I could be in the hood as Harlan.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Can do that.
You can lip sync then.
With several drinks, and I can.
Yeah, it would take a lot for me to do it. It would have to be like everyone in the room would be someone I would have had to have known for at least 20 years.
Or I'd pull the fire alarm. Okay, guys,
it's my favorite song. You just pull the fire alarm. You're like, Toodles.
You guys are out. Okay,
Bowman who did that. Pull a Bowman. Is it Bowman who just pulled the fire alarm?
Oh yeah.
What was he thinking?
Now, Mike, you have a John Cafferty voice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They never thought that they would actually bring me in the studio and record. It was all they just used me for marketing.
Wow.
When after the movie and they sent John on tour, they still put my mug on the poster.
Really?
Yeah. We had kind of I ran into John before I knew I was doing Eddie too. They had coincidentally I was in Hawaii with a girlfriend and there was a big record meeting there, and the Scotty brothers came up and said, John would really like you to do the movie. And I said, all right, fine. Is he here? And he said, yeah. So John, that was Tony who said that John wanted to do the movie because Tony has him under contract. So when he says he wants to do the movie, you do the movie because it's the Scotty brothers.
Right.
And so I said, so John, how do you feel? He said, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm him, I'm you, me, who's who, what? I don't know what's going on here, and I think he had a little bit of a nervous breakdown about that because, his big success was not him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Wild Summer Nights and Tender Years was released like in the 70s. like in the early 70s. And, I have the 45 somewhere on my desk. So, and it didn't break, it was a local hit, but it didn't break.
Well, those are really good songs in part 2.
But you know what? In West Side Story, that wasn't Natalie Wood and that wasn't Tony singing. They were lip syncing.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you
Now
go.
I'm bummed. No, okay. That's
Brian, you can lip
Richard
sync.
Beamer, that Natalie Wood and Richard Beamer were both lip syncing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found
Tony
out
and
that
Maria.
the one girl from Sister Act, one of the nuns, I found out it wasn't her singing, and it broke my little heart.
Not Sister Act.
Come on.
Come on.
If the sister
nothing
Act
sacred.
had it, yeah.
Nothing's sacred anymore.
Yeah, well, especially even the nuns are faking it.
Everybody's going Milli Vanilli on me, huh? Oh, geez.
Yeah. Actually, I saw a video recently of the one who's still alive, and he totally learned how to sing.
Really?
I remember they were trying to do that when everything happened, and they just couldn't do it. But he completely learned how to sing, and he actually had a very good voice. I was like,
restart his career. What is it? Is it Millie or Millie? Which one is it?
I have no idea. I don't know. Or
when we were shooting Eddie 2, one of the guys in the band brought his personal trainer up, and that guy kind of hung around with us for the whole show. And I saw him in LA, and he was working as a bodyguard, and he's the one who ratted out that Milli Vanilli were lip syncing.
Oh wow!
Yeah. He got $15,000, and he went down to Mexico for like 5 years and was a wrestler down there, El Vampira. He had the bleached white hair, and he was a big guy. He was like you, Brian, but he was a bodybuilder and a wrestler, and just one of those funny things that is part of my story.
Yeah,
I know the guy who ratted out Milli Vanilli, and I lip sync for John Cafferty.
Not everybody can say that. Not everybody can say that, Mike. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's something you can, be like.
It's one of those peculiar things in my story.
Put in your trivia on IMDb.
Yeah.
Usually around the halfway point, I like to play the trailer. So I do have the trailer for In the Shadows, and I want to play that now. And it's 2 minutes 12 seconds. So we'll be right back.
All right.
Harlan Hatcher hasn't spoken in 35 years. That's what you're telling me?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
I find that hard to believe, Doctor.
He just sits in front of the window staring out at nothing. Past the hills, past the trees, past the days and nights, to this moment.
What's going on?
Your wife's been murdered.
What? How?
I think I can answer that question for you, Tom.
Dr. Lucas, what are you doing here?
Harlan has escaped.
Grandpa, where are you? Did you hear something?
No.
Oh my God. Jess? Tommy? How are you? Hello? Are you there?
It's available right now. You can rent it or buy it on Amazon Prime. What's it like $4.99 to rent, $7.99 to buy in HD? I bought it. And is it also available physical media, Glenn?
Yes, nightmarefilms.com. We got a store online there with all kind of merchandise.
Nice. So yeah, go hook it up, Tony. Add it to your collection.
Now make sure people understand it's Nightmare, not Nightmare Films.
Yep, Nightmare.
Yes.
Yep, saw that. Yep.
So, with the rest of the cast, was it the Facebook route too, or was it an open audition? Okay.
And Dylan, Beverly, we auditioned a bunch of actors out of Georgia. It's kind of funny. Milledgeville, Georgia, is where we filmed, and I didn't know this until me and my wife watched Pretty Woman, and that's where Joey Roberts' character is from, is Milledgeville, Georgia.
How funny.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, we quite a bit of them auditioned, and it was a tough choice because there was so many good ones, but I think we got the right ones. So.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were pointing out that you thought that the cast was perfect, and like it was so many like solid actors, and I agree. Sometimes you'll see a movie where it's like, it's like, how did this person get in the movie? Like, oh, it's the nephew of that person. That's how, like, which I get it. But
like every Rob Zombie movie.
Hey, yeah. How did Sherry Moon Zombie get in this movie? Oh, she's married to the director. Okay, that's how.
Just watched a TV show. And
You
it
mean
was
like Adrienne Barbeau?
Yeah. Yeah, she was in a lot of movies, actually.
Yeah, she was married to John Carpenter.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, and Nancy Allen was married to Brian De Palma.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. I mean,
Randolph was married to Clayton Hartley. No, I'm just kidding.
He doesn't get me work. He does not cross that line.
Yeah. Yeah, but go ahead.
Brian, as far as the bag over the head thing goes, how did you not have a panic attack being in that bag? And how did you see those holes were tiny?
Well, first of all, we had that form fitted. Like there was a seamstress here in Pittsburgh that actually made the hood. I went over to her shop and she actually form fitted the hood to my head specifications. But yeah, there were times when we did some of the heavier stuff that I was like, all right, I need a break. I got to pull the mask off so I can breathe, because you start breathing in real heavy. But you just kind of get focused on what you're doing, and the eye holes weren't very big, but they were close enough to my eyes that it wasn't too much of an issue. I couldn't see anything to the side. As long as it was right in front of me, I was okay. But if somebody moved to the side of me, it was like, they were like scaring me because I couldn't see them.
Yeah, because
Well, the story behind the eyes thing. You remember they had that big deal with Michael Myers, the William Shatner, and they had to change it for part 2 and 3, whatever, all the rest of them. I didn't want that to have that problem. Oh, that's the same one from Town Dread Sundown. So that was their own style. It wasn't the actual guy. They said that he had the big eyes, the actual killer. So I was trying to make it where it wasn't that and it wasn't that. So we decided to go with the smaller eyes, and that's what we went with.
Yeah.
As long as Brian was fine, because Brian wasn't running into any walls, so that was a good thing, or trees.
As far as you know, Glenn, it was like, don't tell Glenn I ran into that wall. It's okay.
Yeah.
My head.
Yeah, I actually this past week, my wife took me to an escape room, and I was handcuffed to a chair, and they put a bag over my head, and I legit, I was like, it was very quickly where I'm like, you need to get this thing off my head like now, or it's not going to go well. And they were fine, but it's I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it.
I just need to take a. The thing was like the knot with the rope around front. Like I had people helping me because I couldn't see, like tying. I'm like, guys, we need to get this off. I just need to take a breath and put it back on.
Yeah, it was just. I couldn't see through the bag, so maybe that would have helped.
The eye holes definitely, because you can breathe. Like if you didn't have the eye holes, you'd have them sitting there kind of.
Just breathing hot breath. It's gross.
Right. Exactly.
Not to be nasty, but we went out for barbecue before that, and just say brisket burps in a bag is not fun when you're trying to escape from a room.
That's another part of the hood that was we had to make sure it's different because we didn't want it completely white and clean. I remember it's supposed to be 60, 70 years old.
Yeah.
So they made it look like it's been worn. I mean, they did a really good job on that hood.
Nice.
And I did try it on one time, Brian. I didn't tell you that because I didn't want to paranoid you, but I couldn't breathe with the crap in that thing. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm not the killer.
I tried it on at the seamstress place and made sure that I could breathe. I'm like, others put some air holes in the back. You'll never see it.
Well, what's worse, just having a bag over your head or like a full like werewolf like get up suit?
Well, the Bigfoot suit was, oh man, that was more, I guess, more hot and more because it was actually yak fur, and then the hood was this full thing that zipped down the back. So it was, but I could breathe through the nose and the mouth and everything because that was all articulating.
Yeah.
But it was just that was like right on tight constricting because it was literally form fit to me. So that was a different feel. But that was, we're shooting in June in the sun in this yak fur Bigfoot suit. So like, okay, here, Brian, go run a mile and come back, and then let's keep going. I'm like, Glenn, I'm dying in here. I just need.
Oh, the Bigfoot,
Yeah, the Bigfoot suit, yeah.
Yeah, and now what was nice about the Bigfoot, that was also formed for Brian's head, and his mouth would move. Oh, you can see in the trailer of the searching, he roars at the end, and it just looks real. I mean, his teeth were showing. It was just, I don't know how they did that, but they did a really good job.
They did a great job with that.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing whenever people like, only because we do this show do you hear like the behind the scenes kind of stuff. But your everyday watcher has no idea what's going on. They just see they watch the movie and think they know what's going on, but they don't know, what happened before that or how everything was going. So, that's the one thing I credit this podcast to is before, I guess, watching movies, I looked at them different ways. Now, just knowing what goes into making it, and still, I only know half of what goes into it. But it's like, I look at movies a lot different now.
Well, I think if people realize what it takes to make a movie, they'd appreciate people more instead of criticizing every little thing they do.
Oh, exactly.
They would look at a whole different output of appreciation.
Right.
I mean, the actors know. I mean, they see it day in and day out. So It's not easy. I mean, they ain't driving a camera. All right, go ahead, run across there. Audio's got to be good. Lighting's got to be good. It's like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And that's another thing we say all the time too. Like, even if there's a movie that I don't like, I can usually find something good in it. Like, and I always say like it's better than any movie I've ever made because I've never made a movie. They will successfully make a movie and put it out, and they got me to watch it. So, congratulations, you did something that I could never do. Like I've never tried, but I mean that's a huge deal, and it's especially now like to actually get someone's attention because there's so much stuff out there. Like you're bombarded with stuff, So it's like to actually get the attention to catch someone's eye to be like, I'm going to check this out tonight. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but the Bigfoot movie, it's dark cast. I mean, you've got Mike Paré there. You got Robert Romanus. You got Beverly Randolph. You got Zach Galligan. You got Clint Howard. Dave Sherrill. Clint. Yeah, Clint.
I love Clint.
Yeah, so it's got a really good cast. I mean, James Bozin, he was in Con Air and the Wraith, like I told you, but great cast. And it was so funny when we was on the set the day you was there, Beverly. Remember when you said you need the second?
Yeah.
She had that turn. She had to look like she was crying. I said, Beverly, I'm ready when you are. Okay, give me a second. And I'm telling you, when she turned around, it gave me goosebumps. I mean, it was literally an Academy Award moment because we just
Thank you.
saying that.
You just got to get in your head to cry. That's all it is. You just got to get a minute and thank you.
And Mike did the same thing. He had to cry a lot.
I don't cry. What do you mean?
No, I don't cry.
My husband and I always say, it's like, here we're out in Hollywood and we make all these movies. Glenn is in Ohio and making movies. And it's just as mind-blowing that he's actually doing it. People, it's just really something that he can do that. It's just amazing. Because we're out here, it takes massive amounts of people and crew and all of that. And he's one guy in Ohio organizing this and doing it. And it blows our minds. We're just like, I can't believe he's just pulling this off. It's incredible.
I wish everybody looked like that, Beverly. But they don't. They all think, let's get this thing happening now. And that's it.
Yeah. It's incredible. What you've done is incredible.
I think that's the hard part is getting people to know that it's out there.
Yeah.
Things like this is what's going to help, I think.
And you keep sharing. I share it on Facebook, and I swear to you, I don't know what goes on, but it's like nobody sees my post.
Yeah.
What he was talking about before. Yeah.
That's something that we've heard. Like we've heard that from other guests, where like if you share like a link to something, they'll like bury it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what some people do is they'll go to their friends list and they'll just like message their entire friends list with a link as opposed to posting it, because they'll get the message. But yeah, it's like if especially with like things like Indiegogo or Kickstarter, they will they'll completely just bury that. No one will ever see it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
it's ridiculous and it's gross.
It is ridiculous. It is.
Well, I'm going to tell you too. A couple of years ago, I won't get too heavy into it, but a couple of years ago, all of a sudden I went, oh my gosh, I had like 10, 20, 30 people unfriend me. And I'm like, what the heck? Well, I was a little outspoken, I know. And, but then I look at this list again, all these people are my friends again. I didn't add them. They were removed without me knowing about it, without them knowing about it. And now they're back on my list again. And I'm like, wow, something really weird's going on here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They're silencing everybody.
They're censoring and playing things. And yeah, I'm not a fan of Facebook. I think it's
same here. I even though it's the same group as Instagram, I avoid.
I do Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram I think is way better.
A picture and I like Instagram, but I know it's the same people, and so we all have to. I feel have to be cautious of that as well.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Yeah, it's a matter of time. They're trying to be TikTok on Instagram. So
the only thing about Instagram, it's hard to put a link on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the only thing that's difficult because like you don't. If I want my Amazon link on there, no.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put it on there, but it's not like it is on Facebook.
It's not like a clickable link.
If you put it in the stories, then you can put a clickable link into it. So it's like, if you put it in the story or the reel, whatever it's called, you can put a clickable link in there, and it'll take you to whatever you have.
I just want to point out that the stuff that we're complaining about right now. I'm thinking about like when I was a kid. Like I never would have thought any of this stuff would have been real. Like it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. I'm thinking about like when I was when I first saw Eddie and the Cruisers, and like I had you would have to walk up the house and actually pick up the landline and make a phone call, and you knew everyone's phone number. But yeah, it's so different now. It's weird. It makes me feel old.
Yeah.
I hate now that I've learned how to use some of the social media. They've changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I went through 3 or 4 Instagram accounts because of stalkers or somebody. Well, they're not all psychopaths, but some of them are fucking nuts. But now I just posted it on my story.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a million followers. I've worked with a couple of influencers, and they're nice people and all that other stuff, but they have 1.5 million followers, and they're not actors. Yeah. So it's like it's so strange because they'll be reading their dialogue off their phone, and they'll just hold it just out of the frame. They're just. Mm-hmm. And it's such a strange thing that these influencers are getting movies made because they have 1.5 million followers,
right?
And they can't keep, because 1.5 million people will see that advertisement. They'll say, "Hey, I'm in a vampire movie," and people will want to see it because their favorite influencers. It's such a strange world. Look, the Kardashians are starting a religion. They're starting a religion.
Are they really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's wild.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of religion are they starting? What's their religion?
You have to join to get the doctrine.
It's like
and the people that will do it. The people
all their followers will join.
God Almighty. Almighty.
Well, the problem too with a lot of these social medias is everybody's attention spans are about like 5 seconds. So a lot of these bigger influencers, half of them buy their because nowadays whenever people look, it's always the number. It doesn't matter how many views they get on whatever. They want to see how many followers they have.
Yeah.
So a lot of these big people actually buy their followers, so they see like a million followers, but then you see a lot of these people getting, as many views as someone with a third of the amount or whatever. So that's why I think a lot of these influencers, it's kind of like a smoke and mirror kind of deal.
Well, we had influencers live across the street from us, and it's a family of influencers, even their children, their dogs. I'm going to tell you, they had the Lamborghini, they had the Rolls Royce, they had the, the electric car, the Tesla, and then the children running around with the nanny. Worst parents worst neighbors and worst parents I've ever seen. They don't watch the children. The children are running all over the place. And they're also worried about is getting the clicks and taking the videos and doing all these things. And when they moved out, they left the house a mess and the stuff all over the yard. They were the worst neighbors ever. They don't care about anything but themselves and getting their clicks and pictures done. It's just crazy. So I feel bad for the children, really. I feel so
There's
bad.
a movie right there. Beverly will call you, and we'll write that movie called Neighbors.
Oh, Neighbors! Oh my gosh, have I got stories about these people? And he was just like, "Oh my, please watch your children, please."
A horror movie about influencers. Let's do it.
The Influencers.
Yeah.
Starring
You
Michael
know what?
Paré.
The true horror movie, The Influencers.
So good. That could
I would be the neighbor who was going to destroy them.
Oh my Lord! Yes.
It's a true horror movie. I come over to kill them.
Yeah.
Backwards on the street. Be a good neighbor. Oh my God.
Hey, Beverly, we'll have Harlan take care of them.
What is it?
We'll have Harlan take care of them.
Yes. Great.
I got it. My hood is ready to go.
Yes, bring it. Well, they finally moved away. They couldn't pay their mortgage this couple of times. Yay.
So they're not influencing that much.
Lamborghini, yeah.
Sorry?
Well, that's why half of them
Right.
rent the car. So then they take a video with the car. It's like, oh, look what I have. And then you get a new car because that's what you rented for that week or whatever it is.
Well, they had the Lamborghini and the Rolls Royce for at least a year and the Prius for at least a year.
They can't afford their house.
No, they were renting, but the rent was insane. $20,000 a month.
What?
Imagine, yeah. And all their children had Instagrams, even the dog. It was crazy.
How does he work the phone with the paw? How does that work?
Oh my! Okay, I wish I could tell you what
I can barely do it with my own hands.
But it's like the something family, and if you saw me, it would just blow your mind. At Christmas time, the boxes that just all over the yard. Just there were so many things that they took unwrapped, and took pictures with, and it was just like these poor children. Anyway, back to horror.
Yeah, exactly. That's actual horror right there.
I was going to say that's real life horror.
Yeah. So we are going to be wrapping up in a couple minutes. So I want to make sure you guys are able to plug what you need to plug. So obviously, go check out the movie on Amazon Prime. You can rent it. I think it's like I was saying. I think it's $4.99 to buy it in HD. It's $7.99. That's a good deal if you ask me.
And what's the name of the movie?
In the Shadows.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for him. He's doing the plug, and he hasn't said you can rent it. He didn't say In the Shadows.
I was going to lip sync it.
Right.
And you have some other projects that are coming out through Nightmare
Films.
Nightmare Films.
I'm ready for Western.
Yeah. I'm ready for that too. Because the last kind of Western-y movie that I saw that I really, really enjoyed, which is also kind of a horror movie, Michael was also in, was Bone Tomahawk. With Kurt Russell. Yeah, I consider that I would say it's kind of a Western, right?
Absolutely, it is a Western.
Okay,
it is a Western. The monsters are American natives.
Okay,
but they're extreme American natives.
Yes. People getting split in half.
Yeah.
See, that's one. When I came in to get this Bigfoot movie done, there's so many critics out there because there's some people say, "Well, Bigfoots are not mean." Oh,
they watch Harry and the Hendersons too much.
Right? Yeah.
Because here's the thing. My response to that is,
prove it.
He's mean. He was mean, shall I say? Just the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. They're all mean. They're human. So you can't say you don't know if Bigfoots are mean or
right.
Well, I tell you, I've been watching these videos of bear attacks.
Yeah.
Man, I think if Bigfoot attacks, that's what it's like. I think they eat people. I think they're cannibals.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different species. Like, you know, in the Philippines they eat monkey. You know, and when you see a baked monkey, it looks like a baby. You know, so I mean, but there's footage of these bear attacks. It's just incredible. And Bigfoot, you know, attacking the human. You know, there's a lot of biting and big canine teeth and ripping
something
and
that big and muscular. If it is what it looks like, then it's got to be a carnivore.
When we film Sacred Grounds, we'll make sure Brian doesn't eat anything, and then we'll see if he does.
You got to get those big choppers.
Yeah.
Right?
Human for crafty services, right?
And you know, there's footage of chimps at war. Did you ever look? I told you about that, Brian. The footage of the two tribes of chimps that are fighting over their territory.
Yeah,
you know, and they rip them, eat the enemy limb from limb, and eat them. You know, while it's alive. You know, it's like these. Oh, look, it's a chimp. Give him a banana. No, man. Once they're 12 years old, they become carnivorous and they eat the enemy.
They're nasty.
And that's 12 years in chimp years. You know, it's not like 12 of our years. I mean, when they reach adolescence, they become very. I worked with these trainers, and they said, no, when they hit adolescence and then they go through that chemical change, they are dangerous.
Oh wow. Yeah. It's like that. Yeah, was years ago that was the lady that was raising a chimp, and she saw him years later. And
bit her face off.
Yeah, ate her face. Yeah, that's crazy.
In Connecticut, right?
Yeah, in Connecticut. Yeah, she lived.
I want to monkey around with an adolescent chimp.
Waka waka. But so Glenn, where can people
Beverly, I can't wait to be in a scene with you. You're laughing at all my jokes.
You're funny. I like it. You're
what, you funny like ha, like I'm a clown?
No.
That's from Goodfellas. Come on.
Joe Pesci.
No, clever
Joe
humor.
Pesci, exactly.
Clever humor. I appreciate it.
No, I'm glad. We're going to have fun.
Yes. Are they cutting us
I'm
off?
just saying, always keep a monkey in your pocket. That's what
so you need a gun when you have a monkey.
Exactly. This monkey's loaded. So Glenn, where's the website and your socials? Where can people go to find out more information about your movies?
Facebook is probably my main place. You just go to Glenn Martin, or you can go to Night Mars Films on Facebook as well. Don't forget, we got the Searching out there. They both came out at the same time. Just they put In the Shadows a week ahead for the Halloween reasons. So, yeah, they can go there.
Website.
The website is Night Mars Film.
Yeah.
It tells you everything in there too. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Beverly, what about yourself? Do you have anywhere that you interact with your fans? Or,
yeah, I've been a little lax lately. I've had dealing with family stuff. Nothing bad. It's all good. I usually am really hands-on on Facebook, but I've taken a little break from that. But I'm going to come back. And then Instagram, I love Instagram. And then I've got 3 conventions in March in London, Texas, and Vegas. Yes. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm ready for some vacations. So and then I'll get to see everybody.
Yeah. Brian, what about yourself?
Facebook. I'm on Facebook and IMDb. That's pretty much it. I don't have an Instagram account.
I'm on Instagram and Threads. Threads, I heard, is like the new social media thing.
Oh, not another one. Come on.
Yeah.
No.
I know, but it's like, you know, I'm talking to my buddy, he's a filmmaker in Toronto. He says, I'm on Threads. I said, what's that? He says, what are you, stupid? I said, what do you mean, stupid? He said, Threads, it's brand new. Everybody's on it. Get on it.
I never heard of it.
Neither did I until...
I'm so burned out on what we have.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Well, I know Facebook's really putting the clamps on all of us filmmakers.
Yes.
Or anybody trying to get something out there.
Yeah. They don't play fair. We know
Michael,
that.
for you, it's just Instagram and Threads is where you interact the most with your fans?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I post whatever movie that I've got coming out or is out, or reviews and stuff on Instagram and Threads.
Perfect. All right, Tony, what about yourself?
You can find me at Tony Has 9 Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related will be on there. Tony Has 9 Fingers on X, which I never use, but I continue to say it. Tony Has 9 Fingers on TikTok, which is my quickest growing and the most the app I use the most. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me, and of course here most Tuesdays on the Wicked Horror Show, whether we have awesome guests or it's just a horror movie talk. Check us out Tuesday nights. Kevin.
What is 9 fingers? Where did you get that? Did you lose a finger?
No, I dropped weight on it in high school, and it's bent.
Okay.
There,
So
just
it's still there. It's still there, but me being Italian in high school, they're like, "Oh, you should call yourself Tony Nine Fingers." So
Right.
That's good. I like
It's a
that.
great thing for doing your nose, right?
exactly, it's got that.
Get your finger out of your nose. It's not in my nose. Look. I'm
Oh,
just-
it's already gone. You see? So, yeah, that's where I got it from, and it's stuck.
Yeah. For myself, it's just a knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing the show with Tony and a lot of times Angel, I also am part of That Strange Show with Angel. Still part of the Dorkening Podcast Network, and also doing the re-education of Nancy Ann Ritter, which is actress Nancy Ann Ritter. She was in the original Scream. She doesn't know anything about horror movies, so me and my friend Jeremy are educating her on horror movies. We're making her watch all these movies and scarring her for life. So yeah, good times. It's going well. But thanks everyone for watching and listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Thank
Glenn,
you.
Beverly,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brian,
thank you.